what you have stayed for. So here's the best news of all, especially for the teenagers. No long speech from the tall guy, none at all. What we're going to do is do stuff that you're going to enjoy. The reason I know you're going to enjoy it is all over the United States, on Sundays, just about now, teenagers are thinking, this is probably going to be really dumb and boring. And about 50 minutes from right now, teenagers are walking up to me saying, dude, I thought it was going to be so gay, but actually I love it.
No, that's you.
You never thought I was going to say that, did you? Anyway, we're going to have fun. There's going to be a lot of laughter in this room. It's just going to be good. We're not going to talk about boring, sad subjects. We're just going to have a good time together. The way we're going to do this is we're going to get sort of families together, but not complete families in every case, just sort of families. And we have some teenagers probably whose mom and dad were tied up, couldn't stay for lunch, but we have some other adults that are going to be make-believe parents, so it's all going to be good. It's all going to be good. First, let me tell you who you're going to be with, and then I'll tell you where you're going to sit. First, who you're going to be with. If there are two parents in this room, and you have one young'un in the room, the three of you are a group. If there's only one parent in this room, no matter how many of your kids are here, all of you are a group. That one parent and all of your kids, that's a group. If there are two parents in the room and you have two young'uns in the room, that is two groups. One parent takes one parent takes the other, and you got to be far away from each other. There's actually a really good reason for that. Activity-wise, there's a good reason for it. So it doesn't matter where you sit, you just got to be a long way from each other if you're in the same family. If there's two parents in the room, you got three kids here, one takes one takes two. If there's two parents in the room and you have 8 kids, we do have a wonderful Mormon church here that you we want everybody to stay here. Just divide up your 8 kids and it'll be great. Okay. That's who you're with. Now about where to sit. You will notice that I have the microphone. What that means is when I give instructions, you can hear the instructions anywhere in this room. So we're crowded and we need to be not crowded. So some of you need to go way back there to the back. Some of you need to go into the kitchen, which would be my favorite because there's leftover Krispy Kremes over there. Some of y'all need to be out here in the kitchen. Some of you need to be right up here in front of the stage. Some of you behind the soundboard. Now, if we get people in the back, here, what that will do is it'll loosen up this area where, you know, some of you can stay here, but after everybody leaves, you're not going to be crowded. Here's the deal. We're not going to do family secrets. We're not going to do spooky things. But at the same time, if you're up against another family, I promise you it will distract you, it will mess you up. You need your own little space. You just need your own space, trust me. So keep pushing out to these bizarre areas until everybody can kind of have, you know, 4 or 5 feet to themselves. Now, that's where you're going to sit. Let me show you now how to sit. Look at my hands. Look at my hands. If there's just 2 of you, one parent, one teenager, if there's just 2 of you, you literally face each other. And the way you can tell that your chairs are correct, the way you can tell is look at your knees. If your 4 knees would hold up a soccer ball, you're good. If your 4 knees would hold up a soccer ball, you're good. Now, if there's going to be 3 of you, actually it's the same thing. Look at your 6 knees. Would your 6 knees hold up a soccer ball? Good. If not, scrunch up. Why? Because I'm going to give you activities and you've got to be sitting that way or you're going to mess up. Now, if you would say, hey, my parents couldn't stay, what's up with me? You go see Matt and any of you adults Matt asked to be substitute parents, you go see Matt. And he will be matchmaker putting people together, and we'll make sure everybody gets to be somebody. Are we all cool on how this is going to work?
Yes.
Good?
Yes.
Okay, go find your people. Go.
You're right here.
Build the triangle off that chair.
Get over here, Aaron. Oh gosh, I mean, there's got to be a roll all the way through. Don't be cynical. Don't be a jerk. Be quiet and get away with it.
Do the soccer ball test. Check your knees.
Soccer ball is right here. Where Dad was starting. I tried to tell you.
Okay, I think we're close.
Poor Corbin.
Okay,
You lost the rock, paper, scissors, huh?
She lost.
perfect silence in the room.
Right.
Perfect silence, here we go, thank you. This is an important instruction because the room has a low ceiling and there's a whole bunch of us, which means if one family keeps talking after I call time, everybody in this room is going to stare at them and be distracted. So what that means is when I call time, we got to be perfectly silent. All that's going to happen when I call time is I'm just going to give you instructions on what to do next, and you'll be off and talking again. So don't feel like it's going to be boring. I just need to show you what to talk about next. But in between, I do need absolute silence, so we'll be together. Ready? Oh, one other instruction. If there's two adults sitting in your circle, or there's two or more young people in your circle, when I say parents say this or that, or when I say teenagers say this or that, if there's more than one of you, you got to share the time. Sometimes the first teenager will start talking and then I'll call time and then everybody else gets to say nothing. Or the first parent will take all the time and the other person won't get to say anything. So if there's two of you in your generation, just remember if I speak first, I've got to be a little bit brief so the other people can say something. Especially if you're more of the female variety, you've got to be brief so that, you know what I'm saying. Okay. My sexist comment for the day. Ready? Here we go. Oh, where's Matt? We have make-believe families today? Got a couple. Okay, let me say this for make-believe families. You are going to have to adapt the questions because I will be asking questions as if you're a family. So, for instance, if I say, what would you tell parents, what would you tell your child about this or that? Well, if you don't have a child and you're with somebody else, you would just say, well, if I had a teenager myself, I would probably say, or someday if I have children, I would say, if you're a teenager, you could say, well, if my mom was really here today, I would probably tell her that. So just adapt the question a little bit to fit the situation. You cool with that? Just be creative and it'll work. Here we go. Parents, you go first. Parents are going first. Here we go. What do you remember about the moment you first laid eyes on the young person across from you. Don't talk, don't talk. Shh. This might be part of adoption. When you were introduced the first time, this might be part of you married somebody that already had a child. This might be delivery room, doesn't matter. Whenever you saw these young people for the very first time, what thoughts were you having? What was going through your mind when you saw them first? Tell them about it right now. Let's go. Go.
I saw you first. She's already started. No, it was nothing gross about it. It was the coolest thing I've ever seen. And, you know, some people say faint because it was the coolest thing I have ever seen. And then, like I said, it hit me without a bricks. And then I started becoming a Christian. There's a difference. And I felt it instantly. You were very handsome. You were handsome. Not so much. Calling down, so you're kind of pretty. You're kind of pretty now.
10-second warning, 10 seconds.
She wasn't very friendly leading up to that. She was so angry. She was so angry during your childhood.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Perfect silence. Perfect silence. So I mentioned in Big Church that it took us 16 years to conceive Clayton, my son. So when I saw him for the first time, it was a pretty big deal because it was in the delivery room and I got to see a living baby for the first time. I'll tell you about other stories in a minute. But seeing him was a huge thing. I want to say this though. Not every couple gets to have the experience of even waiting 16 years and then eventually having a child. Some couples wait their entire lives and never have children. I'm not saying that to make anybody sad in this room. That's not the point. The point is this. Having children is not automatic. It is just a privilege and nobody can take credit for it. So parents, here's what I would suggest to you today. Just be humbly grateful that God allowed you to bring children into the world. If you're in actual families, this person sitting across from you, just think how different life would have been if you had never had children. Just think about all their activities. Think about all their friends coming over. Think about all the things you've done as a family. Just think how different life would have been if they had never showed up. Now, once again, you can't take credit for it. You can't be prideful. All you can do is to say, God, I can't explain it because I'm no better than couples that have none. But today I am choosing just to look you in the eye and say, I am grateful, I'm humbly grateful that this person across from me came into my life. And parents, can I say something you already know? Life is speeding up. Most of you would say, when this one, closest right here, when this one was in first grade, that seems like day before yesterday. Okay, here's a news flash. Today to high school graduation is going to go faster than that. I mean, we're going to turn around twice, and every young person in this room is going to be graduated and gone. That's like day after tomorrow. So in addition to being grateful today, my challenge would also be just take a deep breath and say, you know what? Don't want to miss anything that's left. I want to soak up relationships. We may have to slow a couple of things down, but man, I want to enjoy these that God sent to my home in these days that we have left. Teenagers, your turn. Teenagers, the parents will find your answer to this question interesting. Teenagers, you've gone on different trips, different vacations, whatever. I want you to tell your folks, what would you say is your all-time favorite trip you made with your family? When you were little or small, it doesn't matter. What trip goes down as your all-time favorite and why? You ready? Tell them, let's go. Go.
Remind me where we went.
They're right with
Because it's not really a hypothetical question. We're trying to come up with something.
Never had maybe like
Ten-second warning, 10 seconds. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Of course, y'all live here, so this is like weird to you, but for a Texan, you ask Clayton his favorite trips, every one of them have the word Orlando in there somewhere. I mean, the mouse was calling us by name at the front gate. We love coming to Florida. Not for the allergies, but everything else is great. Family memories, looking back, lots of fun. I want you to look forward for a few minutes. I want you to flip this and look forward. And parents, for this activity, you may have a great sense of humor, but parents, on this next question only, please don't make any jokes. No kidding around, no jokes, please. Don't want to have any crying teenagers today. I want to flip this and help you look forward to a particular day. And actually, this day is coming for every single family here. There's no exception to this. for every family here, there will be this day where you guys are going to be out on the driveway and you're going to be loading up something, some little U-Haul, somebody's pickup, because this one here with you is literally moving out. I'm talking about adulthood. I'm not really talking about just running back and forth to college. This is really after that. I mean, they are taking, their thing. This is moving. Now, parents, there's no way under heaven they would be doing that work and you wouldn't be helping. Of course, you're going to be right in the middle of it. But if you'll think about it, it's really not that much stuff. It's not going to take that long. Pretty quickly, somebody swings the U-Haul door closed, and then there's this awkward moment because we're standing out there, kicking the grass, because we know when my daughter gets to the end of this street, it's never really going to be exactly the same again. When my son leaves this neighborhood in his pickup, it's never really going to be the same again. Everybody knows that. So parents, I think I know you well enough. You're not going to let them get in a car and drive away without you saying something. You're going to say something. And I know you haven't planned any big speech, I know that. But I just wonder, off the top of your head, what do you think are a few things you would want to say to someone who literally is going to go start their young adult life? What would you say to that person? What would you want them to remember about you? I guess what we're about to do is a skit, I guess. You can call it a skit. In a moment, I'm going to say stand up. And when I say stand up, you're on the driveway. U-Haul's loaded. And so what I'm wondering is, parents, what would you say? Now, young people, you don't have to say anything. You just stand there. Parents, you can put your hand on their shoulder. You can do anything you want to make it real. But it's just like I'm on the driveway and I'm just saying a few things before they take off to go start another life. Now, this is important. When you have said your piece, when you've said whatever you want to say, be seated. It's important that families sit down when they're done, because I'm going to be watching, and when the last family sits down, then I'll know we can continue with the afternoon. So when you're done, be seated. And of course, with the big families, you'll have to go a little bit faster because others will be waiting. You ready? Here we go. Stand up, you're on the driveway.
Your mother first. He said no jokes. I wanted to joke.
It's like 3 years later. Stop counting.
3 years is not that long. 3 years ago, you were 13. Just a lot of stop shushing. Think about the words. That's within, which is within what we told you, that's what we taught you. Still don't listen. This day.
I noticed about 5 mothers reaching for the tissues. The kids are not actually leaving today. This was make-believe. This was just, in fact, I saw one dad sniffling, but of course I provided an excuse to say, just allergies, man, it's just allergies. No, I'm just teasing you. To be perfectly honest, when Clayton was, tearing out, of course, I broke my own rules because this is a college story, but when he took off, to go to college, I was trying to be all happy and upbeat until he was gone. And then I cried like a schoolgirl, man, because I love having him around the house. I completely understand. And I think when the actual day comes for each of you, I think there'll probably be a tear or two. Would you let me give you a goal for the driveway? A goal. 3 words. Sadness without regret. I'm going to explain that. Sadness without regret. Sadness is what I was just kidding around about. It is part of loving people for there to be sadness with separation. Makes perfect sense. For you guys that have been enjoying each other 18 years, 19, 22 years, whatever that turns out to be, for y'all to have enjoyed each other's company and for that to come to an end, it makes sense that people would be sad. And I think those tears are good tears. But what about regret? Regret is way different. Regret means I'm standing on the driveway and then it hits me like a ton of bricks. Oh my gosh, she really is leaving today. My son really isn't going to live here anymore. Now I want a do-over. Now I want to turn back time. Now I want a second chance. But of course in life you don't get second chances. So what you do is, in August of 2018, you make some decisions. And you just say, this is going fast, faster than I could have ever imagined. And we're not going to live together that much longer. Once again, I may need to slow some things down. I may need to rearrange some things because I want to enjoy and experience these days that we have left. Now, young people, I know it sounds like I'm saying all that to the adults, and I guess I am. But young people, let me say this to you. On leaving day, you guys are going to be so excited, out of your mind excited, thinking about this brand new life. Maybe you're going to go get married, maybe you're going to go start a job, or it doesn't matter what it is. You're just going to be thrilled. Life on your own. And truth be known, almost every adult in this room will celebrate that for you and with you. It's not like we're sad that you're going to have a life. We're celebrating it. But young people, listen to me. I've been hanging out with people your age a long time. And I will tell you what they tell me. You're fixing to get in your car with the trailer and you look over at your house and you go, oh my goodness, I have lived in that house so long. You look at your parents, they have been my parents for so long, and yet when I come back here next time, it is not going to be the same. How do you do that without regret? How are you able to drive away without any bad feelings? You do the same thing. In August of 2018, you even make some decisions and you say, do I want to fully experience my teenage life? Absolutely. Do I want to enjoy my friends? Absolutely. Do I want to get out of this house a little bit more as I grow up? Absolutely. But in the midst of all of that, I want to keep coming back to a mom and dad that love me.